Hey guys, welcome back to some more Lord of Heroes. In today's video, I wanted to take a look at Fire Vanessa. In my video comparing her and the water one, I said she was the one that I was going to pick up first. They're both really good, but I wanted to go a bit more in depth into it now that I've been using her for a couple of days, and she is absolutely fantastic. We'll go through her skills and then sort of how you want to gear her and stuff like that, so let's get into it. Okay, because we've done it before, we won't go too in-depth into the skills. The basic attack deals damage based on defense, which is better than based on attack for her, basically. Second skill, heals all allies proportionate to her defense and increases their defense for 2 turns. Really, really nice. The thing about this one is if you do skill her up, it becomes a 3-turn defense buff on a 3-turn cooldown. Really, really nice, just for mitigation, but also the healing it provides. And then on the ultimate, we have heal all allies proportion to the user's max health and grants invincibility to all allies for 1 turn. Now this is absolutely fantastic. It is a 4 spirit cost, but hey, invincibility is ridiculous, and we'll talk about how to make this work because it is only a 1 turn buff. So you do get into situations where you use it, then your ally moves, then the enemies attack, and that ally is no longer under invincibility, but we will talk about that coming up. We have a passive of defense up, which is nice because she heals and deals damage based on defense. And then we have this one, decreases the damage of water element from water elemental enemies by 5%. This is really nice. When you're taking less damage from the thing that you're weak against, I prefer that. I think I really like that on a support anyway. Let's go ahead and take a look at her gear. So this is how I've got her geared at the moment. So with my summoning, I did like 5 pulls on Striker for Helga. Then I shifted and did about 4 pulls on, no, I think I did 4 or 5, I can't remember. Probably 4 pulls on Cleric, and then I went and did one on Sniper as my most recent. I'm just trying to split up the gear now, but I really wanted to do the Cleric pulls, and this is why I went for her instead of the water one as well, just so I could get more pulls, better gear, and help me progress further. So the set I've gone for is basically the healing one is the main one you want. If you can get an offset, it's really nice, but I'm not too stressed on it. And then also just aiming for defense and HP. As you can see, I got defense, defense, and then HP on this one, which is really, really nice. Not too bad. Even with 3 defense ones, the healing isn't massive on her skill 2, but it is just a skill 2, it's not an ultimate, and her healing on the ultimate is actually decent with only 38% health. The other thing to note is I have upgraded mine to 5-star, so that is something else to consider with why my stats are a bit higher as well. But just all around, defense and HP and speed. Now, with this chick, there's a couple ways you can do it. So you can either try and make her, in my opinion, the fastest hero on the team, or the slowest hero on the team. Mine is the second fastest at the moment, which is less than optimal, but it still works. So I feel like making her the fastest on the team is really nice. The reason you want to do this is, and it can vary from battle to battle, if she's the slowest on your team, but your whole team is faster than the enemy team, that means you can use the rest of your team at the start to build up the ult gauge or the burst gauge, whatever they want to call it. And then she moves last, you can pop invincibility and then become immune to all your enemies' attacks, and then it's your turn again to go. The other way to do it is make her super fast, put her the fastest on the team. That way, hopefully she can overlap the enemies and then go ahead and pop that invincibility. Now, the only place this is really, really important that I've found, so I'm progressing through hard mode at the moment, and we're into Gallus East hard mode. The only really important place I found for the invincibility is against bosses. I find you don't really need it on the waves. It's pretty much on the waves, you're only using it as a heal. Against bosses is where it matters. So you really want to speed tune her for bosses. So against different bosses, you might actually have to come in and swap her gear up to try and adjust her speed a little bit. Because like I said, I got speed on that one, health on this one. That's why she's a bit slow. I've just had bad luck on my rings and my necklaces. But speed is key, and not only just making her fast, but making her speed tuned to the certain boss that you are fighting. And the great thing is that in this game, it doesn't cost anything to unequip or swap your gear around, so you can swap it around as easily as you like to try and find a speed tuning for the boss. That is the biggest tip I can give with her. When you're struggling on a boss, try and adjust her gear for the speed. Have a look at where you are in the boss and where the speed's happening, and then you can try and slot her in. The other thing you can use is the where is it? The Olivia. to manipulate the boss's turn gauge to try and make her slot in at the right spot. That's the other way you can do it, which works really, really nicely. But yeah, pretty much the recap is you want the healing set, you want defense and HP and speed. I just like everything being faster. Everything that isn't my main damage dealer, even my main damage dealer, I like to be fast, but I just like everything to be fast, because if you can overlap in turns, you're just going to end up dealing more damage, getting more support out, landing more attack breaks, everything. So in general, I just like speed on heroes, is the pretty much the gist of it. And also, she is one that I do recommend getting up to 5-star early. The two things that I really think you want to aim to get 5-starred early are your main damage dealer, because you want that damage, and then also your healer, so that the healer can heal more. Now, there are plenty of options for heal. You've got the Charlotte, the Earth Charlotte as a healing option, and you have got the Water Vanessa as well. Whichever one you are using as your main healer, I'd probably choose between, like, I guess the Charlotte you can use because she works for the event, but if you're watching this later on, between the Vanessas, whichever one you decide to use more is the one I'd decide to 5-star first. You can use them both, obviously. And the other thing is, this chick I find much better on manual play, so like pushing the campaign and stuff like that, whereas the Water Vanessa is much better for auto play, because the revive is just, it's AI immunity to dumbness, because if everyone else dies and she's still alive, she's going to pop that revive and there's no bad way about it. Whereas this one, sometimes your team just wastes all the burst gauge on abilities, and then you don't have it for the invincibility. Plus, she'll pop the invincibility at the wrong time, like she'll pop it, then your whole team will move and all that sort of stuff. So she's much more of a manual style of play character, this one, but really nice and definitely worth the investment of 5 stars. I just want to go here and show you guys this event anyway, while I'm talking about it. Where is it if we can find it? Here it is, finally found it. So what I was talking about starring up, as you can see here, for Fram, Johan, Schneider, Earth, Mailing, Fire, and Charlotte, you can get the bonuses for doing them. I definitely think 4-star at least, and I've mentioned this before, for Fram, Johan, and Charlotte is definitely worth it. 5-star, like I said, I went for the Vanessa because I see her as just the better healer for me at the moment for where I'm struggling, which is on bosses. So I'd rather promote her to 5-star instead of these other guys, because the 500 crystals, whilst being nice, I'd rather have more progress on my account. So that's the reason I did that. But yeah, that's definitely something to consider with this event. And if you do have a bunch of resources, it's fairly cheap. So I'm actually considering doing that, because some people have been asking me. I'm considering getting them all to 4-star, because it's a good chunk of energy you do get. So like, I may even do the Schneider and the Mei Ling up to 4-star, because if we go and look at promote cost, if we can look at it, the annoying thing is it does use up some of these agates, but it is 100,000, which seems expensive. However, once you get into hard mode, I've started to get a fair bit of gold, and I'm just going to save a bit and probably upgrade these guys. The reason I'm so low is because I did just spend 300,000 doing the Vanessa, but I'm thinking I'll do that because the energy that you get out of it is pretty much worth it to me. As for the 5-star, I wouldn't do any of them to 5-star unless you're really using them. So that would be things like the Fram and the Charlotte and also the Johan, but completely up to you guys. I definitely think for 4-star is worth it. Now that I see how much resources we can earn throughout the time, it's not too much of a burden to do those guys. But anyway, that is going to be it. That's my take on the Fire Vanessa. Really solid healer, amazing if you're struggling on bosses. Like I said, be sure to test out speed tuning against bosses, pop that invincibility, become immune to the boss's damage, and basically GG. Anyway guys, thanks for watching. I hope you have an awesome day, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Cheers.